Oh, hi there. Thanks so much for showing up for your learning and for deciding that you want to build your fluency at solving equations for x. So I salute you for your commitment to your math growth. Let me show you how to train this skill using this playmat. You're going to need some dice. I have some digital dice here, and I like numbers between 2 and 12 for my practice. If you want bigger numbers than that, use bigger dice. Use more dice. I'm just going to add two of these dice together to get some numbers. So 6 plus 1 is 7. 6 plus 1 is 7. 6 plus 5 is 11. The 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, so now I decide either by flipping a coin or by just deciding that that's either addition or subtraction. And so then I want to be able to get to the point where I can very quickly tell you that this is 17 on 7. And here's how I do it. If you want to be able to do this mental math, which is really fun and turns it into a fun puzzle, you want to get very good at writing these things down in a tidy manner on your paper so that you can see it very clearly on your mental whiteboard. Okay? So the first thing that I do is I'm going to move all of the constants to one side away from my x, so that I get 7x is equal to the result of 6 plus 11, which is 17. And then finally, dividing by 7 brings us to x is equal to 17 on 7, or 2 and 3/7. Giving the answer as a mixed number or an improper fraction, both are fine. Don't worry about decimal expansions for this type of practice. So practice with these, build your fluency, and then practice more challenging problems. So I suggest problems involving some distribution. For this, we're going to need a few more numbers. So I've got 6 plus 3 is 9, 4 plus 6 is 10, 2 plus 2 is 4, 1 plus 1 is 2, 5 plus 2 is 7, and 3 plus 6 is 9. So, and then I just decide this is subtract, this is add, because that looks good to me right now. All right. And then you want to get to the point where, if you just permit me to solve this, (25 on 36), that's so cool. Which happens to be 5 on 6 squared, unless I have an error. Okay, so worked it out in my head, and let me show you how you want to write this down on paper as you do it, and then I'll talk to you about how I do this in my head for a shortcut that allows me to keep the numbers straight. First, we have to distribute these numbers into the brackets. So that gives me 9 times 10x gives me 90x, and 9 times negative 4 gives me negative 36. Again, try to rely on your own knowledge of your times tables and avoid the calculator as much as possible. 2 times 7 is 14, and 2 times 9 is positive 18. X. Okay, so now that distribution is done, and I have now a three-step equation. So now I want to get all of my x's to one side. I choose to send them over here, where I'm going to get a positive number of x's. That's going to give me 72x is equal to, well, now get all your numbers on the other side. So 72x, I'm going to now add 36. I'm doing that because I want to get this number to the other side away from where I put the x's. So I add 36 to both sides. I add it to its like term, so 14 plus 36 gives me 50, and then I divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 72. And then 50 on 72 will reduce. Both are divisible by 2, and they don't share any of factors because they're squares of consecutive integers. So then that will reduce to 25 on 36. So it seems that I'm correct. But what if I'm still not sure? Okay, what if I want a very efficient way to check my work? Well, you can go ahead and just type the question that you were looking to solve into Desmos. And this gives you a very fast way to verify whether you have the correct answer. So now I look at that, and it says 0.694, okay, is what it's saying the answer is. But is that really what x is equal to 25 on 36? So now I just type in what I felt the answer should be, And then I can do this. I can toggle this one on and off and notice that it's exactly on top of that line. That line is showing me the solution to this equation, x is equal to and x is equal to. So it's graphing it as a vertical line. So that's the way you can quickly check it. So I promise you a trick about how to solve that level of problem in your head. So let me show you. I'm just going to add a couple numbers here to this one to get a new problem. 3, 5, and 9. And yes, we can just decide these numbers. And then let's go ahead and erase this. So if I have this problem here, the way I keep this organized on my mental whiteboard so I don't have to remember the whole problem at every line is I work out the coefficient of x first and then work out the constant term. So the first thing that I do here is get 21x, and then I ignore the rest of the problem and over there get 54x. I decide to get a positive coefficient of x this way. So I will end up with, at the end of the day, 33x over there, and it's positive, the coefficient. Now I just remember that number 33. I remember that that was the coefficient of x, and I'm going to wind up with that in the denominator of the fraction of my answer. Now I go ahead and over here, and interestingly enough, I get minus 33, and over here I get 30. So I'm going to send my numbers the opposite direction. So I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides. And 33 minus 30 gives me minus 63. Finally, dividing by 33 will give me the answer x is equal to negative 21 on 11. Because I notice both of those numbers are divisible by 3. So I divide both of them by 3 and give my answer. And then I type it into Desmos and check it. Or I can check my work by hand afterwards. Okay. Now, suppose that level is getting easy for you and you want more of a challenge. You don't need just bigger numbers. You can even try smaller numbers. Like what if x that was 7 over 5x, and that was 3 over 4 here. Now the problem is much more challenging to solve. You might need to do several of these by paper before you were able to demonstrate this level of mastery in mental math. All right. All the best for your continued math success. Any questions, do talk to your tutors, do talk to your teachers, do talk to your classmates about other ways to practice these skills. And again, for showing up and building your math fluency, I salute you.